Pleased to have on this show for the first time on the phone. I always enjoy seeing him face to face when he comes here because you just love him. He just comes in all badass, leather boots, smoking heaters out there in our thoroughfare before coming in with his beard and just crushing it.
Did he bring the baseball bat?
He brought a baseball bat. I think he brought Lucille, but he grabbed one of our bats and started wheeling it around like he's Negan as he plays on The Walking Dead. The season 10 finale is going to air later this year, delayed due to COVID-19. And for the moment, though, as he is hanging in, there's now a show, Friday Night In with the Morgans, hosted by Jeffrey Dean Morgan and his wife Hillary Burton Morgan. And that's on AMC starting tomorrow night at 10 Eastern Time. And back here on the show is Jeffrey Dean Morgan. How are you, sir?
Very good, Mr. Eisen. How are you?
Where have I found you? I'm following you on Twitter. I'm seeing you driving around, nearby, I guess, in the woods or something. I drive around in the woods a lot. Well, we've got a farm up here in upstate New York. Right.
I'm actually very lucky to have this farm, especially right now, because my lockdown consists of quite a bit of land, so I can get the kids out. Myself out. No one's killing each other. It's going okay.
Okay, well that's good. That's good. And everybody's healthy in your world.
Everybody is healthy under my roof. So far, so good. But we have really adhered to the not leaving. The most I'll do is I deliver. My wife has been making masks for local hospitals and caregivers here in the Hudson Valley, and so I will pack up a box of masks that she makes and deliver those to the frontline workers. But even then, it's kind of a dine and dash situation. I'll throw a box out of a moving car going 100 miles an hour down the road.
No, I bet I hear what you're saying. So, do the masks have any specific design on them? Are they Walking Dead masks?
Yeah, I mean. Well, mine has she made one for me that's, Seahawks mask. But she's making them out of, started with old shopping bags because they're made out of a material that is basically a filter, an N95 filter. So that's what it started as. And then we've gotten more materials, found them online and so, yeah, she's churning those out. The sewing machine has been going 12 hours a day for the last 3 weeks, and I figured out how to make hand sanitizer. So we're doing.
What do you mean?
We're doing what we can here. Yeah.
How does one make hand sanitizer, Jeffrey Dean Morgan?
It's not that hard as long as you have like rubbing alcohol is your main ingredient.
Right.
But some glycerin, a little hydrogen peroxide. You can put a little tea tree oil in there if you want to smell like something other than alcohol.
Are you using any of your knowledge of survivalism from Walking Dead involved in all this?
Yeah, well, I wish I could bash the hell out of the virus, but unfortunately, you just can't see the damn thing. I think in this situation, for those familiar with the show, there was a character at one time named Herschel who lived on a farm and had isolated his family on this farm, and that's very much kind of the character I have kind of simulated my life after at this point. So yeah, we're just locked down at the farm, man. It really is this, and now we're going to try this show, and we'll see what happens there.
And Friday Night In with the Morgans.
Friday Night In with the Morgans,
Very good. Right. So let me just put a pin in that for a second. We'll return to it after. Let's go down a little bit of a Seahawk wormhole, sir. Let's go down that. I mean, if I had told you at the beginning of last season that Marshawn Lynch would return and then be part of a playoff run, your answer would have been what?
There's no way. There's no way. I knew that we would be in the thick of things for a playoff spot, but to bring Marshawn back, to see old number 24 Beast Mode come back, I tell you, I bought all that merch. I'm gonna, the second it was announced, I was on the Beast Mode website buying everything that I could. It was pretty exciting. And you know what? He looked okay. He looked pretty good to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly for a guy that I'm imagining there had to be some sort of a run-up, right? That he knew it was potentially in the offing. But A couple of times.
I mean, that's what the rumor is, that they've been talking about this for a little while. They've been talking about it even before everybody went down with injury. Marshawn had been at the Seattle offices and said hi to everybody, and I think talk started then, just for him to kind of back up Carson. And then when everybody got hurt, that was it. Yeah, boy, it was a bummer. And then, that last game of the year against the Niners, to come, a quarter inch from winning the division. Oh, boy, Rich, what can I say?
Well, I'll tell you what, Jeffrey, the crazy thing, and we've talked about it on this show ad nauseum, might as well just bring it up here. I mean, that quarter inch that was on Sunday Night Football, the finale, game 256 of the regular season, had that been, a quarter inch in the other direction, San Francisco would have been on the road to start the playoffs as the 5 seed. The Saints would have gotten a bye. The Packers would have gotten the 1 seed, and the Seahawks would have gotten a home game the following weekend. I mean, that's what you want to talk about. Normally, baseball's a game of inches. That was a game of quarter inch right there in the NFL.
It really was. I've relived these moments quite a bit in my mind. The mindless things all of a sudden will just pop up.
Sure.
And that's the new one for me, is that moment. That would have changed the whole NFC playoff picture for sure. And Seattle at home, you can't bet against them at home ever. Russell Wilson is something to behold, and how he consistently pulls off these games. I mean, last year, I don't know how many comebacks he had. I should know that. But, fourth quarter comebacks, I want him with the ball in the fourth quarter with the minute on the clock, and I feel like we're going to win every time.
It was a remarkable number of one-possession wins for the Seahawks this year, for sure. Jeffrey Dean Morgan here on the Rich Eisen Show. Who do you want your Seahawks to draft? If they could, they're sitting there 27th overall, got a couple of twos. Yep. Who do you think this team needs? What do you think this team needs?
Well, look, if I'm a Seahawk guy, I guess I am a Seahawk guy, but if I'm in the draft room, I've been saying this for the last, 7 years, we need offensive line. But, I think we also need to shore up the edge. And if we can't figure out what to do with Clowney, and I'm really hoping that we get him back, but I think we need help on the edge, and we've got to protect Russell. Every year it's kind of the same story with us at draft time. And then, as we do every year, we'll turn. I think we've got 7 picks this year right now, and I'm sure that's going to turn into 11 or 12.
Yeah, right.
But this year's a lot different. No one's getting to meet these players. No one's getting to see them work out. So you're really having to just look at film, which I like. I think that's a good way to go about it. But, Seattle's big on character. Pete has his guys that he likes, and it's a very certain kind of a mindset. And so I imagine there's a lot of Skyping going on right now.
Yep.
But I'd like to see offensive line, and I think there's a couple places we could go in the defense. But I think that Pete and Paul will probably end up getting a receiver. They like a receiver. They like cornerbacks. They always seem to kind of come out of nowhere in draft. So really, it's sort of a guessing game with the Seahawks, and we'll see if we end up with that 27th pick. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, they never do. They never do. They always seem to trade that one out. Your Seahawk fans sit around for 2-3 hours. They're like, okay, finally, here we go. We're ready to eat. And then all of a sudden it turns into a second rounder and 2 3s and a 5 and a 6 and whatever. But, hey, it works out. I mean, at your point, with Schneider and with Pete, they know their system. They know the whole always compete mantra and finding the right guys. And DK Metcalf was remarkable last year. I mean, one of the best.
Oh, my God. What a story. I mean, we saw what he did in the combine, but you never know how that's going to translate on Sundays.
Right.
And, wow. It's so fun to see him and Lockett, playing together and kind of figuring out how they're going to play. And he really was a beast and kind of carried us to the wide receiver spot while, Lockett was hurt for the better part of the second half of the year.
Right.
Really stepped up. fun to watch, and I can't wait to see him go some more. I think this year if it's possible, he's really going to have a breakout year. Is my prediction.
All right,
if there is a year.
Yeah, and I'm knocking on wood on that, and that's obviously we're all hoping for the best on that front. And in the meantime, you're helping provide people with what we're doing right now, and that's a little bit of a diversion. Tell me about Friday Night In with the Morgans. You and your wife just gonna shoot it for just like an hour and just see what's going on? I mean,
it's not even an hour right now. I mean, that could change. Right now, it's a half hour.
Okay.
And I was actually doing a hospital run. Was in my car, listening to Howard Stern as I do. It's always talk radio in my car when I'm driving. And they were talking about the technology and trying to put a Zoom show together. And I had just done an episode of The Talking Dead, which is a follow-up of Walking Dead. On Sundays they do. And we had done a Skype version of that show. And I thought it had gone relatively okay, considering it was the first time any of us had done it. And I emailed Sarah Burnett, the head of AMC, and I said, hey, what do you think about us doing a show with this new format and just chatting with some friends? I bring in some actor friends, and then we bring in someone from our community. That this community we're in is a very kind of tight-knit, small community, and everybody's been so helpful kind of during this time of craziness. And so we have brought on, so far we brought in a doctor for our first episode, our family doctor, who answered a lot of questions that we all had about this virus. And next week we're going to bring in our local agriculture guru who has helped me and teach me how to run a farm, essentially. And he's going to talk to us about what's going on in that world, because that's as affected as everything else with this. And everybody's running out and buying chickens and stuff now, thinking they're going to, or gardening, and thinking they're going to, that we're going to be in this pandemic lockdown forever. And so we're going to ask him some questions about that. So it's just a really kind of odd mix of people that are mostly out there doing really good things for the community. And just, tone is so important, as you know.
Sure.
How can you have fun when such horrible crap is going on in the world? And I think finding that the right tone is going to be very important for us, and one that I'm keenly aware of, because it's a lot. But we're hoping we can bring a smile to some people's faces, and might even get a little bit of knowledge out of that. We'll see. I mean, it's really flying by the seat of our pants, to be honest with you.
And I look forward to seeing some of that, and I imagine you can combine celebrity actor friends and also folks from around the communities. Does that mean Rudd? We're going to see a Paul Rudd appearance?
Yeah, Rudd. Yeah, of course it means Rudd. Right now we are scheduled to do 4 episodes, and of course Rudd responded to my email slower than everyone else. The only time he responds to emails on time is when he's at the Super Bowl winning.
Yes.
I've never heard more from a dude in my life as I did during that game. But him and his wife are coming on. Right now we're doing 4 episodes. If we do more, he's in 5, believe it or not.
Okay.
I imagine we'll probably do more than 4 the way things are going right now.
I look forward to seeing it again. It debuts on Friday, April 17th at 10 Eastern Time. Before I let you go, we had a fan call in our first hour on our YouTube stream, youtube.com/Rich Eisen Show. Big fan of your show. Wondering how Negan, in the middle of the zombie apocalypse, gets to keep his hair so pristine and perfect. Do you have an answer for this fan? Is there a zombie hairdresser or barber that Negan goes to?
Negan is all about kind of ego. Is sort of my guess on this, but he does seem to have a nice haircut. Week in and week out.
Yep.
And here's how crazy I am, is I decided to see if I could kind of give myself a fade, the Negan fade, using a knife. And so, believe it or not,
wow,
I cut my hair for that show using a knife.
What? What? Are you serious?
Yeah. I had to try it. I had to make sure that and I'm not a method guy. I'm like, look, I'll use a hairdresser. But But I knew that I'd get asked about for years. I've been, how come no one's bugging Negan about his gelled up hair with his nice haircut? And when I was in jail, the season I was in jail, I decided to see if I could cut my hair using a really sharp knife, and you can.
Okay,
I cut myself a few times,
Well,
but it's a possible thing.
I'm glad that you've lived to tell the tale. I'm glad that all worked out, Jeffrey.
To say, the producers weren't exactly thrilled.
I imagine so, but I did not expect an answer like that. I'm glad to have gotten at least the positive result.
There you go. You're the first one that's actually asked it.
You know what? I give credit to Rich Eisen show viewer. I give all the credit right there.
Well, you got great viewers, Rich.
Thanks, brother.
How real quick before we leave, how are you and the family? How's everybody?
We're great. Susie and I are doing fine. We've got an 11, 9, and 6-year-old at home. They're healthy, thank goodness, and there've been challenges keeping everybody, just sane, but it's all good. We're healthy and thrilled that we are able to do this show. We're doing social distancing on this program by being here. So we're knocking on wood.
Are you still shooting at the studio?
Yes, sir. That's the chair the chair you're normally sitting in is empty. So we can't wait to have you back here.
Chair.
Yeah, man. Love to have you back here. Love to have you back here.
Anytime.
You take care of yourself, Jeffrey, okay?
All right, you too, and say hi to everybody there, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
You got it right back at you. That's Jeffrey Dean Morgan,
Be good, Jeff.
if you will, the worst half of the new show, Friday Night In with the Morgans, that's debuting tomorrow night at 10 Eastern on AMC. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.